Hey, friends and family, thanks for tuning in to this week's Thursday Night Thought. This week's thought is a little different than the normal messages that we've received because this message is an I am statement. It's a claiming of power statement. And that definitely shifts things when we claim these words. And so I'm going to read you this message right now. And the message is this: I am open to receive new vision. I trust that all resources, opportunities, gifts, and assistance necessary to manifest this greater insight into reality is already provided and at work now. This truth nourishes my soul, giving me strength to accept what is. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful vision to think that what it is we're being called into in this greater aspect of ourselves and this shift that's happening right now is already in place. It's already working. The people who are meant to come into our lives are already on their way. The things that are meant to work out are already working out, as long as we are being our greater self. And so it goes back to what I was talking about last week. So when I asked life, how do I receive this new vision? I'm open to that. What does that look like? It was very evident that in order to receive new vision, it all had to stem around what it is that we are tolerating in our life right now. So what do I mean by that? I mean that there are things that are showing up. So for myself, I had to look at my own life and I had to look at what is it that I am tolerating that no longer is in alignment with that greater aspect of who I am and who I am here to be. And I had to look at those things and recognize that if I were just to put a boundary to it, to stop it, what life was showing me is that the moment I did that, this new vision would open up. That this is part of that shift. And so when I did that, it is exactly what happened. It just broke through, and all of a sudden this new vision was given to me, and all these resources and people and opportunities and all these things started coming my direction. But it took recognizing what it is that I was tolerating in my life. So what is it that you are tolerating? Meaning, what is it you're allowing that is no longer in alignment with who you are? Is it a relationship? Is it a job? Is it a circumstance? What is it that you are tolerating and saying, oh, it's okay, or making excuses, or maybe judging even a part of yourself because you say to yourself, well, I did that, so I can tolerate that from someone else. No. Life is saying that in order to shift into a new reality and become that greater aspect of who we are, we no longer tolerate what it is that is no longer in alignment. And I believe that's interesting that this message came through this week during the Me Too movement. How interesting is that? Because that was us speaking out and saying, I no longer tolerate this behavior. I no longer tolerate men who are going to rape and abuse women. I no longer tolerate anger. I no longer tolerate bitterness and resentment and all of these lower forms of humanity that we've just somehow tolerated. And with this Me Too movement, boom, that energy is out there. We no longer tolerate that. And it's spoken. And once something is spoken, it then can be manifested, because once we speak our truth, we can therefore live our truth. And that's part of this shifting into this abundance, into this greater aspect of who we are, and knowing that everything is already in alignment. And that helps us accept what is in our own life. So if you're looking at what is in your own life right now and perhaps judging it or saying, I can't believe I'm going through this, it's a gift. It's a massive gift showing us our own truth. Because sometimes what happens, the way we know who we are, is to be able to recognize who we are not. But that shift has to come from within first, right? Everything happens from an inside-out relationship with life. So the whole way we shift into that greater reality is by recognizing, where am I tolerating this in my own life, and no longer tolerate it. Put up that boundary. When I did that this week, a lot of things shifted in my own life. And I believe there's no coincidence that the Me Too movement happened this week as well. Things are shifting. So Look into your own life and recognize where is it that you are tolerating something that no longer aligns with that greater aspect of yourself moving forward. That's the place to look at this week. And when you look there and you no longer tolerate it, that's what allows you to break through that old vision that was holding you in a holding pattern. Oh my gosh, am I still tolerating? Is it okay to tolerate it? No. And the moment you put that boundary up, boom, new vision opens up, new opportunities, new resources that are already at work. So do it. That, I believe, is what life was calling us to do this week, and how beautiful that we already shifted into that. Thank you for tuning into this week's message, and I look forward to sharing our next Thursday night thought together.